Are you in the metropolitan Richmond area and you've been wondering how you can find support for your Black and Brown owned business? Stay tuned. Welcome to the WorkHARDAholic Show with your host, the original WorkHARDAholic, Shirley Crawford, author, speaker, and small business consultant for over 20 years, helping you to work hard, play harder, and business better. Hello, 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 and welcome back to WorkHARDAholics. I am Shirley Crawford, your host, the original WorkHARDAholic, and today, I cannot explain to you how excited I am. For those of you who know what it's like as an entrepreneur, that you're out there doing the work, you love to see things get accomplished. You might have a mountain to climb, but when you can look down and see, I'm at least a few feet up, it does something for you. It re-energizes you, and I am energized. Vacation helped as well. All right, so today I am really excited to have with me, as you can see to my left, Carol Reese of Resources Inc.
Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, everyone.
She is faking the funk. She is not that quiet. Give her a moment. She will catch up with you. And then we have a very special guest, Tracy Lewis of Lewis and Associates out of Chi-Town, Illinois. And she's going to
Hello.
smile. There she is. We need verbals here, people. We need verbals. So, there's a story and a reason why the three of us are together, and it started back in 2020. And Carol's the one who dragged me into this, so I'm going to let her start off with this conversation and let you all know how we even came to be together.
So I received an email that they were looking for individuals to participate in the ecosystem building for the Richmond, Virginia area, starting a study. I reached out and I contacted Miss Tracy Lewis, and she said, "We're looking for people in the Richmond area to participate. Do you know of anyone?" I say, "I know Shirley Crawford, and I will reach out to her." And Tracy took the charge and sent us the information, and we started the study, and here we are.
And you need to know when she says Tracy took the charge, Tracy is the one in charge. Let's just be clear. All right. So, Tracy, tell us how you even started this because, like, Tracy is deeply involved in this project. So, we're here in Richmond, Virginia. We're very self absorbed with our area, but Tracy is darting back and forth from coast to coast, really focused on this work. So, but before we even get into that, Tracy Lewis, who is this amazing resource, can you tell everyone a little bit about Lewis and Associates and how you even got into the work that you do?
Very haphazardly, actually. It was accidental. My parents had put the ambitions on me to be an attorney. And I held on to those ambitions until I took the LSAT in college, and the LSAT was pretty much like, no, you can go to law school in Columbia
Oh,
if you
okay.
still want to pursue that dream. And so that didn't happen. And so I I decided to get my graduate degree in public administration, which is where actually a lot of reject attorneys land, ironically. And as a part of that program at my alma mater, Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, I started interning with the city of Ypsilanti, which is a uh, small city outside of Ann Arbor, outside of Detroit, Michigan, and working in community development. And in that community development, I was working for Downtown Development Authority, and I was responsible for recruiting businesses, revitalization of the downtown and their commercial corridor, and I just fell in love with the work. Fast forward about 5 or 6 years later, and I actually graduated from grad school and became a nonprofit executive director, working with communities, organizing communities, doing a lot of grassroots organization. And working in that space, I helped develop that small organization, help them grow from being partnered with another organization to getting into their own separate space, growing their budget by 6 figures. Um, and really just bringing a lot of people to the table to help develop and further the mission of that particular organization. And so I said, I must be kind of good at this. A lot of people
Six
are
figures, I'd say
following.
so.
And so from there, I just saw that there was a gap with creating conversations and coalition building between nonprofit organizations, businesses, and through the nexus of those particular elements, I saw the genesis of Lewis and Associates. So Lewis and Associates is basically grounded in doing strategic planning, capacity building, community and economic development, community engagement for nonprofits, philanthropic organizations, and government entities. And so how I fell into this work is JPMC was working with Common Future and Next Street and a colleague and friend of mine to do a replicate a study that actually started in Chicago in 2018 of doing small business ecosystem assessment analysis across the country. So what is small business ecosystem assessment analysis? That's basically looking at all of the support structures in a particular geography that are geared towards supporting businesses. And so that could include a broad swath of agencies, nonprofits, universities, county governments, city governments, state governments, all of those things. But the particular focus for this analysis was how do these ecosystems or these agencies serve entrepreneurs of color or entrepreneurs that are coming from a disadvantaged position.
I'm gonna pause, Tracy, because for those of you who don't speak grant and who don't speak, community development, the bottom line is that Tracy is an amazing individual who is the one who is behind the work to move the needle in our communities. So a lot of times we talk about doing stuff, but what are we doing? That's when you need a person like Tracy who's going to tell you, hey, you need to build a coalition. These are the steps to do it. Hey, you're going to look for funding. Here are the key words. Like, I love the fact that Tracy knows the lingo. We all know in all of our industries, we all have like our tech jargon. Tracy knows it, and so therefore she speaks community development. She speaks nonprofit management. She speaks the language, and she translates it for the rest of us. And so that was also part of the reason why we were so excited to have her on this project. I know you want to hear more because there is more. We want to make sure you hear more about how Resources Inc. came to be a part of this project and a little bit more about the project and what's happening here, now, in Richmond, and even how you can become involved right after this commercial break.
Ladies, are you looking to move your office from your kitchen table to a space of your own? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you looking for co-working and community? Well, then come join us at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, Suite 100, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow Lawn. Visit us on the web at wbcrva.com or on social media at WBCRVA. When you're ready for more than just office space, come join the WBCRVA family.
So, what are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm trying to find the hat so that I can be the winner of the Boss Ladies Who Tea hat competition held by the Empower Conference. What do you think? I think it's the winner.
Ladies, are you ready for an afternoon of tea, networking, and inspiration? Join us for the annual Boss Ladies Who Tea event happening on July 15th at Meadowbrook Country Club. Sip on specialty teas, connect with like-minded women, and hear from guest speakers. Tickets are available on Eventbrite, so don't wait. Just search Boss Ladies Who Tea and get your tickets today. You don't want to miss this exclusive event.
Life can be a struggle. Find hope, healing, and answers at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place to encounter God through uplifting worship, singing, prayer, the preach word, and fellowship. One step can change your life. One step could shift your destiny. There has never been a better time to take that step than now. Come be our guest every Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Abundant Life Church of Christ, a place where you belong.
Welcome back to WorkHARDAholics. Once again, this is Shirley Crawford, your host, the original WorkHARDAholic. And what does that really mean? It means that we get to be a part of projects like this, all while running a center and running our own business. Okay, but for you, what do you need to know, especially if you're in the metropolitan Richmond area, or even if you are coast to coast of the contiguous, contiguous. That's what happens when you take a vacation. You forget English of the connected states of the United States. This project has been going on throughout the country. So when it started, and Carol's going to correct me if I'm wrong, it started with 9 different regions or 9 different regions throughout the U.S.
Well, it started with 9 regions in Virginia first, but 9 regions. I think it was Atlanta, and Tracy can chip in. Illinois. I want to say Kansas, California, New York, and I forget the other 3
Because I know Tracy
industries.
works on San Antonio,
Texas is one.
St. Louis. I never get the one. So because of the fact that we are very Richmond centric,
Yes.
Tracy is the one who is like behind the scenes. She was, when the project started, she was the one who was working with Common Future and Next Street. And once again, the program was funded by JP Morgan Chase. And so Tracy was working with it nationwide, and we were very
Virginia
focused on our own region.
Yes.
So
during the course of it, though, Tracy with Next Street and Common Future, we got to listen into other states and how they were doing and the work they were doing, and how Tracy was a part of other teams, which really brings great intuition and information to us, and really discovering that this is a movement across the United States at the same time. When we first started this in 2020, there was no one hardly doing this work. We were really at the beginning of doing the work. Now, everybody's doing some part of the work.
But as you speak about everyone doing a part, how does Resources Inc. even become a player in this platform?
God. I promise you it was God. I answered the email. I worked with LISC, Local Initiative.
Who is also a partner in the work.
Who's also a partner. And at the time, that was not the direction the agency wanted to go into. So I lucked up and got the opportunity. And I thought it was a great opportunity, because when you work with small businesses, as I've done for 20 plus years right out of elementary school, you realize that one of the biggest disconnects is really finding out who does what and where. And how do we make it all work? I could go over to this agency and get this information, but they don't know anything about part B. And I go get part B and they can't tell me a part C. And then you have overlap where there's people doing things that move businesses forward, but they're working in silos. So to find out that there was a movement to bring it all together, and the geek side of me was like, what? I mean, I just was like,
Geeks
super
Unite.
excited. Yes.
Well, one of the things that I found so exciting, so when this all started, as Carol was mentioning, we knew anecdotally what was going on in the area. Like, I could have told you all the stories about why people don't go from north side to south side, and why I-95 went through Jackson Ward. We could talk about the history of the area, but there wasn't any documentation. And so this study and the work that was done with Next Street, Common Future, Lewis and Associates, once again backed by JP Morgan Chase, and LISC is a partner, and I think in all of the regions as well. I was really excited when we were able to come out with that report. And so from that report, I know we specifically came up with these 4 pillars. And so Tracy, would you like to address those, to tell people like what came out of the study to show that this is what really needs to happen in this area for Black and brown business owners to be successful?
Right. So I think one thing that's really important, there's a couple of elements that are really important that I want to uplift is, I really like how you said, Shirley, anecdotally, we knew the problem in terms of what is prohibiting the success and collaboration in terms of uplifting small business owners of color in the region. So we didn't dismiss what was known anecdotally, but we added to that with research. So we looked at the level of capital investment that's brought into the area. We also talked to business owners for them to be able to provide their testimony. We talked to business support providers. We talked to policymakers. But then we also we dug into census data to look at how many small businesses for the purposes of the study was defined as businesses with 50 employees or less. But oftentimes through our matching data with anecdotal data, anecdotal testimony, we found that a lot of times it was sole proprietor businesses or micro businesses that we were often talking about. So it was matching all of the things that were known through lived experience with data, and that combination was done through talking with various stakeholders, doing desktop research to land us on, okay, these are we're validating the problems here, but let's not just talk about the problems and continue to pontificate on that. Let's develop solutions to really address what are the primary issues. And so the solutions that were developed through a consortium of voices were 4 pillars, which are ecosystem building and collaboration. So that knowledge that we work in silos, but how can we change that work in silos and be more connected as a region? How can we fundraise jointly to increase the level of investment, not only from the standpoint of increasing capacity for business support organizations, but how can we bring more capital into the market? We also looked at tailored support services. So how can we be more responsive to the needs of business owners? Because a lot of times through the data, we found that the support that business owners actually needed was either concentrated in particular areas or was just completely missing or wasn't readily available. So how can we have more support services that are designed closer to the business owner's needs, but then how can we also leverage that information and train other business support providers so that they're providing programming that is also culturally competent and place-based. We also looked at a continuum of capital or access to capital. So again, how can we bring more capital in the market? Because our research identified that there is a $5 billion gap in terms the capital that is available versus the capital that's needed. So how can we work collaboratively to bring more capital into the market? How can we reform the type of risk mitigation practices that underwriters have in the area to make capital more accessible? And then lastly, we have avenues to market. So avenues to market, and there's more details in each of these solutions, but primarily avenues to market looks at how can we create more opportunities for small businesses in the area? How can we help them be more visible? How can we attach them to anchor institutions so that they have more income streams? But how also, when we're talking about procurement, how can we have a continuity of procurement policies and procedures that make it more easier for small businesses to get their foot in the door?
And so what's amazing about all of that is, like, as we said before, it's something we understood, but it's wonderful to have it all validated. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're listening and you're like, okay, it sounds great that you all figured this out, what are the next steps? Well, stay tuned after this commercial break and we'll tell you. So, what are you doing? What do you mean, what am I doing? I'm trying to find the hat so that I can be the winner of the Boss Ladies Who Tea hat competition held by the Empower Conference. What do you think? I think it's the winner.
Ladies, are you ready for an afternoon of tea, networking, and inspiration? Join us for the annual Boss Ladies Who Tea event happening on July 15th at Meadowbrook Country Club. Sip on specialty teas, connect with like-minded women, and hear from guest speakers. Tickets are available on Eventbrite, so don't wait. Just search Boss Ladies Who Tea and get your tickets today. You don't want to miss this exclusive event.
Hey there, I am Rita Ricks, principal of Rita Ricks LLC. We are spiritual and mental health coaches showing women and young adults how to remove the barriers preventing them from creating the life they were born to live. Once those barriers are eliminated, they find the peace, purpose, and passion to achieve what they truly want in life. Contact us today at ritaricks.com because this is your time.
Listen, attorney Alex Taylor is a soldier in a suit, defending anyone with criminal charges, DUIs, and more. Call Alex Taylor, your soldier in a suit, at 804-500-5000.
I'm Alex Taylor. Don't face your criminal charges alone. Put a former prosecutor with 30 years of experience on your side. Let me show you how a soldier fights for your freedom.
Call 804-500-5000 or go to alextaylorlaw.com. During these challenging times, Richmond Dentistry for Children wants to remind you that we've been here for you and your children for over 25 years. Your child's body is their temple and their teeth are the doorway to good health. We provide compassionate pediatric dental care Monday through Friday. Call 804-780-2888 for your appointment or come to our office at 300 West Broad Street. RichmondDentistryForChildren.com, serving Central Virginia. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Wouldn't it be convenient and safe to communicate with your dentist, pediatrician, medical doctor, or mental health professional anywhere you are without actually traveling to our medical centers?
Well, you can with a televisit at your local Capital Area Health Network. Call us at 780-0840 or go to cahealthnet.org. Find out how a televisit may be your best option. We are the Capital Area Health Network, the heart of the community.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lawrence Roberts with New York Life, here to provide you with financial news you can use. Today, I have some letters from our viewers. So I'm going to go ahead and read the letter to you, then we're going to answer the letter, because these are important things to get your questions answered. Mr. Roberts, I'm just going into it. I am a 37-year-old with kids. My current employment is social work. I am also married with 5 years. Why should I invest? What benefit will it do for me? That's something many people have asked. Then they also went in here and added another PS. I guess they thought about something else they wanted to add to it. My husband and I save money and do not go over their budget. So many people today, budget? Did I say a bad word? I'm sorry. Because they treat it like it's a bad word. Budget. Well, they stay within, that means really in all fairness, what that really means is this. They live within their means. They enjoy their life, but they're not going out living on a credit card, okay? So the importance of saving, or should I say investing right now. You work hard for your money. Obviously they do, because it's a family, they have children, husband, wife, everybody working hard for their money. Why not make your money work for you? You have to let your money work also, because realistically, there's no way you can get 7% interest on a savings account. There's no bank that's going to give you 7% interest on anything, not with no bank product. So, but however, for me to come here and tell you, hey, invest in this, invest in that, no, that's not going to happen. You have to sit down and talk to a financial professional such as myself so they can determine what's important to you. What do you save your money for? What are your goals? What is your risk tolerance? All that's important, because this family here, they could be really scary about, hey, they don't want to lose a penny. They work hard for their money. They don't want to lose not 2 cents. But then it could be the husband. I'm just saying the husband. Please don't think I'm stereotyping now. That he could say, hey, we need to be a little more risky. 37 years old. If you think about it, when you have a longer time horizon to your goal, meet your goal for saving, investing, put money aside, you have a better opportunity for just to weather the market ups and downs, to weather the challenges, to grow your money. That's where you just hey, don't worry about it. Put the money there. Just like you're saving monthly, invest monthly. That is why you do that. Because if you don't, what you're going to be left with is this. If you take all your money and continuously put it under your mattress or between your mattress or dig a hole in the backyard under the doghouse and guard it there so that the dog can guard it, that's what you will have. You're losing the growth, the opportunity growth of the money, of your investment. That's what that's about right there, okay? Now, there's some other things we talk about also, because investing is more than just putting money aside or giving it to a financial professional such as myself and, hey, invest my money. That's such a broad topic and broad thing there. What you really need to do is this. Sit down with a financial professional so you can determine your goals, determine when you want your money, determine what are you saving it for, because they have 3 children. They might be saving it for children's education. Not every child's going to get a scholarship to go to college for free. Not every child's going to get an academic scholarship to go to the school of their choice for free, 100%. So you might have to pay a little bit coming out your pocket as a parent. We will, move mountains and clouds, move heaven and earth for our children to provide for them to go to school. That is not a problem. But one of the things you do want to do is this. You do want to plan for it, because that's just planning for tomorrow. If that's already taken care of, there's still life after your children go to school. Again, take the time to talk to a financial professional such as myself. I am available. You can reach me on my phone at 804-746-3714. You can also go to my website, lawrencevroberts.com. And I'll thank you. Again, my name is Lawrence Roberts with financial news you can use.
Welcome back to WorkHARDAholics. If you have been listening, which I hope you have been, you would know that I am here with Carol Reese of Resources Inc. and Tracy Lewis of Lewis and Associates, who is taking time from her busy schedule in Chi-Town. I could say Chicago. I could. To be with us as part of this conversation. So we've been discussing the greater RVA small business ecosystem, in particular as it relates to Black and Brown business owners or BIPOC business owners. And what that means is there has been this study that was started back in 2020, back when we were all still dealing with COVID. And that's when things were exacerbated. And so they were magnified. And you could really see the differences between minority-owned businesses and majority-owned businesses. And so through this study, we were able to shift from I know how that goes and you know how that goes to actually having documentation of research study, which was shared. And that's the beautiful thing now, because we're seeing some of the results of that program being shared, even in a meeting that I had last week at City Hall. They were actually referring to, because Richmond in particular just did their first disparity study, and they're about to announce all that information, but we were getting a little sneak preview. And part of it, I was like, yep, that came from my research. So this is all full circle. But now the question is, what happens next? So Tracy was just sharing with us some of the reporting information from the study with regards to the 4 pillars or the 4 categories of areas where there are gaps for our minority business owners. And so now we're like, okay, we see the gaps. What happens next?
So what happens next is that we address these strategic solutions through actions and actually finding partners for the ecosystem coalition, finding resources, pulling all the resources into one area. So if you go into our website, you can find everything in one place, and actually listing out what each entity offers as a service is really a plus, because a lot of times you may know that this organization helps businesses, but what specific services do they offer? So really having that information outlined so that you don't have to call to find out when you're looking at resources, and trying not to repeat your work you have to do, but knowing from, I can find this resource here and I can find this resource here, but also I find a small business that offers this support service as well.
And see, so Carol, because she already knows the end of the story, has jumped forward for you all, because she's at our website. Did you even know there was a website? Well, this is what just happened. So throughout this process, there were, I just have to say, if anyone knows me, you know I hate meetings. I hate, detest, deplore despise any other D word that will apply to that. I hate going to meetings, but we went to these meetings because the outcome was important. But there were focus group meetings, working group meetings, meetings of the team, meetings with the team nationwide. There were meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings. And then there was Tracy in the background going, whipping us into shape to make sure we were staying on task. And so when we looked at the 4 pillars, there were some things that require millions of dollars. The budget for all this work to be done is not cheap. It's millions. I said millions with an M. So if you're out there and you're that happy billionaire, feel free to donate those couple of millions that we need to do the work. Thank you. So we wanted to start with what we called low-hanging fruit. So a couple of the items where we talked about that hub of resource information, a roadmap for entrepreneurs. If you're out there going, oh, I need financing, or how do I get started, or how do I level up, how do I scale, then you're going all over the place. And of course, we know all the people because we're in here. But if you don't have a Shirley, you don't have a Carol, you don't have a Tracy, you don't know where to go. And so now that's all been consolidated, or still in the process of all being consolidated, into this lovely website that was the beta of was just unveiled to at the regional convening that we just had April 27th. You can tell we're into May now. All right. And that was, the energy was so amazing. Tracy, can you talk a little bit about what was addressed at the meeting held at the Black History Museum?
Absolutely, which was a very intentional location to have this event. So when we're talking about the evolution of a study, studies are done all the time, and in that study there can be recommendations on how you move things forward, right? And even those recommendations can sit on the shelf if they're not operationalized. Yes. So our conversations over the last couple of years since the assessment was conducted in 2020 and ended in 2021, is how do we operationalize the data and the research and actually turn it into action, right? So there's several pieces in that. And doing this work across the country, the strategy of how we have operationalized and building an ecosystem, because the ecosystem may exist in disparate pieces, but we're trying to make it evolve organically to where it is a connected ecosystem. So that's something that we've been working on and addressing on how we do that. So in doing this work in other markets, other markets have focused on really looking at the connectivity amongst all of the players. But Richmond has been very unique and been like, yeah, we realize that connectivity is important, but folks have been connecting and have been talking for so long. We actually need a project that is an anchor, right? To bring everybody to the table. So we looked, and we actually hosted a convening last year. And in that convening last year, we looked at all of the gaps. We looked at the changes that have occurred in the ecosystem since the study. And everybody unanimously came together around, I think we can pool our resources together to centralize the data and connectivity. And so we've talked about this being a tool for business owners, which is the business owner is the end user in this process. When we're talking about developing an ecosystem, the business owner is a part of the ecosystem, but business support providers, policymakers, stakeholders at various levels are a part of that ecosystem too. So this also becomes a tool for them, because one of the things that we also saw is that folks may know that programs exist out there, but they don't have a stream of connectivity between those programs to be able to handle handoffs to each other, to be able to check on each other, but also knowing that we need additional investment in the ecosystem. Are we collectively scaling at the level of impact that is needed to be responsive to growing business owners? So developing a website, centralizing our data became the anchor project to start to really grow the ecosystem. And now that we have planted seeds and started to see growth and sprouts of that, now we at our convening last week, we unveiled that tool. And now folks are ready to build community around the development of this website, which is actually something that's very strategically done, right? Because again, we're using this as an anchor to attract attention that this is happening, but we're also involving the ecosystem. So we're changing the culture of working in silos. And so now we're working around a project together and contributing to the development of this ecosystem website together. So it really becomes representative of the ecosystem of as a whole and all its parts, from the business owners to the policymakers to the business support providers, to universities, academics being involved in this to provide additional data research. So again, we're keeping consistent with matching quantitative and qualitative data to grow our collective impact.
You are the entrepreneur and you're listening going, okay, that sounds great. How do I sign up? How do I get on board? Don't worry. Right now we're going through the beta testing with those who are in the background doing the work. We will soon be launching it out there to the general public, and we are very proud of the work that's happening, and there's a lot more going on as well. Right now, of course, our time is it's basically up. But I want to say a special thank you once again to Carol Reese of Resources Inc.,
For having me.
Tracy Lewis of Lewis and Associates, and to all of you who are out there also doing the work to make an impact in our communities. We thank you. So stay tuned for more information. And as we always say, live better, do better, be better, and happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta!
Like, share, subscribe, repeat. Like, share, subscribe, repeat. 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 Thanks for tuning in to WorkHARDAholics. Support our show by following on YouTube and all major social media platforms at WorkHARDAholic. Until next week, happy entrepreneuring.